So, morning. I thought I'll just do a test film with the new camera. So I'm just going to take you for a walk along the south bank of the Thames from, as you just saw, the middle of Westminster Bridge. Dropping down to the south bank. And we're going to go for a walk along the south bank of the Thames. Hope you don't mind. It's about 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Am I mad? Yeah. So there's not going to be a lot of people about, I shouldn't think. So we're just coming up to the London Eye. I'm going to have a walk around the London Eye. I'm not going on it. I've done it twice. That was enough. So, hope you enjoyed the walk. So we're going to go all the way up to Tower Bridge. So it's going to be, I don't know, a mile and a bit, I don't know. So I hope the video is going to be nice and clear and smooth tracking. I've sort of messed around with all the settings on advice of all the professionals on YouTube. So I've taken advice on all the professionals on YouTube of all the settings. There might be one or two settings that I'm not totally clear with or happy with at the minute, but that's why I'm doing this video, really, just to get used to the camera. So this is where the London Dungeons have relocated to. As you know, they used to be on Tooley Street in SE1. We're still in SE1, I think. But this is where the London Dungeons have moved to. So they're right next to the London Eye. Right next to the London Eye. So if anyone was wondering, or you're visiting London and you want to do the London Dungeons, They're right next to London Eye. So, in theory, when this video gets played back, it should be in full 4K. Yeah, so as I was saying, when this gets played back, it's gonna be in full 4K. I'm hoping the sound's alright. The new camera's got 4 microphones, so it's got 3 microphones which are actually attached to the unit, which are all in different directions. Yeah, so it's got 4 microphones, so 3 on the unit itself, and 1 which is a clip-on mic with a muffler, but I'm still trying to get used to that. I've got it with me, it's not connected. I did try connecting it, but for some reason it didn't want to connect, so I don't know what's going on there. So the wind might be picking up a little bit there, but hi. So just opposite the London Eye, there's a little park, as you can see, where you can chill. I should imagine it gets ridiculously busy during the day. Right, let's carry on along the south bank. I'll try and point out some little interesting bits and pieces if I can, if I remember. Shouldn't take too long as it goes. I don't know if you remember that there is a video I've done just before Christmas, I think, or just after Christmas. I've done one in the evening, I think it was. It's on the channel somewhere to have a look at. Should still be there. Well, it will be there. So this camera, it's as I said, I'm not gonna tell you what camera it is yet. Probably on the holiday, next Butlins holiday, which, as I explained on the previous video a couple of days ago, is going to be week commencing 1st of June. So we're all looking forward to that. Me, Tony and Eddie, we're looking forward to the holiday, which is round the corner now. So there you go. As I said, this is just really a test video, really, just to see what it sounds like and the smoothness and the quality of the picture. So I'm hoping it turns out alright. So I had quite an early night last night. I had a Chinese late evening, and it totally knocked me out. Went to bed relatively early, and I woke up at stupid o'clock. So I thought, right, let's go out and have a play with the camera around the South Bank. Now I know on the other video, when I was in West Sussex a couple of days ago, I know I did mention that I was going to go to Arundel, and I didn't get to Arundel, sorry. I'll do it next time maybe. So just taking a walk along the Thames on the South Bank, testing the new toy. Now it is windy, so these 3 microphones are probably going to pick that up, but as I said, there is a clip-on mic with a muffler, which doesn't seem to want to connect at the minute, so I'll have to go over the settings, have a rethink and a replay on those settings, I think. So I've been going for 25 minutes already. Bloody hell. Expect the video to be a long one, I think. So with this camera, it's you have to use an app with it. So when you first, you get the app from the company who makes the camera. You have to get the app off of their own website and download it. And soon as you switch the camera on the app, downloads all the latest updates and software to the camera. But also it's quite handy because with a lot of cameras, you know, it's tape is old school now, obviously, but like 99.9% of cameras now, they record onto SD or micro SD card. And with a lot of cameras still, you have to take your card out, stick it in your PC, upload your video, and then chuck it out on the social media. But with this, and with the clever application on your phone, you can transfer your footage and your photos. It does photos as well. I will try that out at some point. But so you do your footage and then you upload it, connect it to your phone. It drags over your files, your video files, your picture files, drags them over onto the phone, and of course once it's on your phone you can just chuck it out onto your social media. Now also on this app you can do a fair bit of editing, quite a bit apparently. That's something else I've got to look into. I probably won't edit this, I'll just throw it out there raw as it is, but apparently even on the app on your phone, once you upload your footage or your pictures, you can do a lot of editing apparently, even off the app on the phone. So that's going to be something to play with in the future, I think. So I'm just going past the National Theatre. I don't know how well you can see that because of the light, but National Theatre. Okay. Quite glad I'm doing this quite early, to be fair. It wasn't planned. Plus at 11 o'clock I've got to go out, pick some things up from Surrey Quays, and then I've got to go back up to the West End. Well, I don't have to, I will be going back up to the West End to get a few more things. So I mentioned about the upcoming holiday. Butley's me, Tony and Eddie. We as I said, we're all looking forward to it, but I think I mentioned Tony, and I know he will watch this and he'd probably kill me for saying this, but Tony's waiting on a new hip replacement, so he still gets around, don't get me wrong, he works, Tony's actually retired now officially, but he has got himself a nice little job working for a security company on film sets, which I'm sure is quite interesting. But he's waiting for a new hip, and the NHS keep promising him, we're going to chase this up, your hip is now very bad, we're going to chase this up, we're going to chase this through, and it gives him false hope. In fact, the past year he's had a lot of false hope, because he's had his hip re-x-rayed a couple of occasions now, and it's bad, and every time he has an x-ray and they check the x-rays out, it's, well, we need to push this through now, Tony, we need to do this, and still nothing happens. He can't take painkillers anymore. He recently found out that after years, and there's probably hundreds of thousands of people like this as well, he's found out that the painkillers, what they have put him on due to his hip pain, have started affecting his kidneys. Now they've come across this quite quickly, luckily enough, but literally they've told him that after all the years and years of painkillers he's had to take for his hip pain, are now affecting his kidneys. So he's no longer allowed to take painkillers. I think they've put him on morphine painkilling patches. Now, he's tried these before and they work for a certain amount of time, and then they just stop working. So I know he's not the only one. It's probably hundreds of thousands of people in the UK waiting for hip replacements. But as I said, they keep giving him false hope, because as I said, he goes to the hospital, he's had it re-x-rayed 2-3 occasions the past year and a half, and each time it's, we must push this through, we must push this through. Well, the poor old sod is still waiting. So what I'm saying is, during the holiday, in less than 4 weeks now, we're just hoping that him hobbling around, poor sod, won't affect the holiday too much. Tone, I know you're listening to this, me and Eddie will push you in a wheelchair. Don't worry, mate. Push comes to shove, old son, we'll stick you in a wheelchair. Little visitors. You know I'm only kidding, Tone. I know you're going to watch this later. Me and Eddie whizzing you around up the prom in a wheelchair. Oh dear. So, just approaching, I'm still on the Thames obviously, just approaching the Oxo Tower. That wind, if it is really bad on the telly, sorry about that. But I will get this other microphone, the clip-on mic with the wind muffler. Nothing wrong with a wind muffler. As soon as I get that sorted, I'm sure the wind issues will be resolved, hopefully. Just walking along a little pier, which I don't think I've ever walked up before. Oh dear. Welcome to a mad Sunday morning in central London. It's like being back at Bognor. The Oxo Tower with lots and lots of very expensive apartments. Probably a few million quid there each flat, I should imagine. This might be a long video, you know. These people out jogging, making me feel knackered watching them. So when I was in West Sussex a couple of days ago, I went to an antiques fair which is held on an old airfield in Ford. Now Ford is just on the outskirts of Littlehampton. It's just on the outskirts of Littlehampton, and it's a normal market, a couple of car booths out, shall we say. Car boot sale 2-3 times a week, and then on the Thursday it's a big antiques market. Now when I went on last Thursday, it was rammed. You can imagine weather was lovely. It brought out all the sellers, and it was really good. It was a really good turnout, and it's quite interesting to watch, really, because what I know about antiques is what I watch on the telly, to be honest with you. So my knowledge of proper antiques is very limited. I'll just look out for stuff what catches my eye, and if it's interesting to me, I'll buy it, which I did. I did get a couple of bits as it goes. But what I'm saying is, if there's anyone who watches these videos, you're mad. Who may be interested in antiques and antiques markets, and you've never done Ford, it's worth doing, especially in the summer. I actually went there like an idiot in the winter. I think it was towards the end of last year, or the very beginning of this year, and I actually went down there for a couple of days. I'd yet again probably had a bit of leave I had to use up, and I think I mentioned on last holidays video, if I've got a bit of annual leave to use up, I'd rather get away. There's a nice pub here just on the edge of Blackfriars Bridge. All these massive tower blocks, man, it's crazy. There's a pub here, the Doggets. It's quite a nice pub. It is actually quite a nice pub, and I used to, many moons ago, I used to frequent this pub because, I'll tell you for why. The young lady I was with at the time, hang on. A young lady I was with at the time, she loved it. She absolutely loved that pub, and it was our little getaway. Now, please don't judge me, but she was married. We had a year's fling. She didn't live in London, luckily enough, but she was young and married, and yeah. So please don't judge me. You don't plan these things, they just happen. Shouldn't have happened, but it happened. So I'm just walking under Blackfriars Bridge. Yes, so that was a long time ago, and we used to frequent that pub quite often. It's really nice inside, and obviously on the Thames as well. It was quite cosy. So just over the river, I'm just going to zoom in. Don't know how clear your this new toy is picking it up. Some pools over there, and we're just coming up to the Millennium Bridge. And I think I mentioned this on a Christmassy walk I've done just towards the end of last year, and this bridge we're just about to approach, the Millennium Bridge, when it's first opened, it got known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge because you walked over it and it quite literally wibbled and it wobbled, which frightened a lot of people. It was perfectly safe, obviously, but it wibbled and it wobbled a bit too much. So what I did, after a year or so, they closed it. Now, I was working in the city at the time, and I got sent home sick. I wasn't very well, so I for some reason I thought I'd walk home after being sent home sick from work, and I decided to walk over the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge, i.e. the Millennium Bridge, and I walked over it. As I said, we're just literally approaching it now. So I walked over it, and it wibbled and it wobbled, and everyone was enjoying it, wibbling and wobbling. And literally, I walked home, which would have taken hour, 50 minutes, whatever it was. And when I got home, put the telly on, and local news came on that lunchtime, and they just announced that seagulls in central London. Okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, so I got home after walking over the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge, which is in front of us now, I put lunchtime news on. Lunchtime news on, and they just announced that they had closed the said Wibbly Wobbly Bridge for maintenance. And I thought, that's crazy, because I've just walked over that. Anyway, what they did was, even though when it wibbled and it wobbled, it was perfectly safe, they decided to install some stabilisers. And as far as I remember, it took nearly a year for these don't think you can even see them, I don't think. It took touching a year for these stabilisers to be fitted, so it didn't wibble or wobble anymore. And that's it in front of me now. That is the Millennium Bridge, known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. So that takes you actually, so that will take you straight into the heart of the city, and literally up to St Paul's Cathedral, and then coming this side obviously brings you out here at the Tate. It brings you up to the Tate. So we're just walking under the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. There you go. And in the distance there is the Square Mile, the City of London, where I actually worked on and off for longer than what I would like to mention. Worked over there in the city for many years. So we're just coming up on the right in a minute is the Globe Theatre. So yeah, I think I mentioned, get a clear shot of it in a minute. I think I mentioned that the Globe Theatre, which is here, there you go, so the Globe Theatre is the only building in London which is authorised and licensed to have a thatched roof. How's that for a bit of interesting information on a sunny Sunday morning of a bank holiday weekend? Yeah, so I find that quite interesting really, because it's the only building in London I don't know if you can see that, authorised and licensed to have a thatched roof. The only building in London. How bizarre. There you go. Wind's dropped now, so if there was severe wind issues earlier and your TVs were shushing and making a horrible noise, sorry about that. So we're just coming up to St Paul's Cathedral bells. I don't know if you can hear that. So I'm just coming up to Southwark Bridge. Hang on. So that'd be an interesting test for the microphones on this new camera as it goes, because that was, if you heard that, that was the bells of St Paul's Cathedral. So I'm quite glad I actually caught that, because that'd be a nice little test for the microphones on the camera. As I said, it's got three microphones on the camera, so which are at different angles, which I think is quite clever. So, and as I said, you've got a clip-on mic with a muffler, which is with me, but for some reason it didn't connect. But I'm sure that's just a minor issue. We will rectify that issue before the holiday. As I said on the West Sussex video I just done, with the holidays, with those of you who kindly follow and who are interested in the Butlins videos, I think I mentioned a couple of times now, running out of ideas. I'm running out of ideas for the holiday videos. And I've done the walk and talks around Batley's Bognor, and I think Eddie, who Southwark Bridge. Yeah, those of you who watched Edward's historic video of Butlins, what we'd done for him, he went to Butlins with his family, his wife and the kids, in the 80s. I think it was mid to late 80s, which was like way before I started going down there. As I briefly mentioned, my first visit to Butlins Bognor was in 1992. So with Edward, he went to Butlins Bognor mid 80s, and luckily he took quite a few photos. So what we did on one of our holidays last year, I'd like to say last year, but it could have been year before. The years go so quick, which is really scary. So he bought his photos with him, or the first lot of photos with him, on one of our little West Sussex excursions at Butlins. And me knowing how it used to look back in the 90s and how it did in the 80s, I could tell where each photo what he had from the mid 80s was taken. So we actually went back to each location within meters, like it was like within meters of where these 1980s pictures were taken. And of course it's all changed now, and each sounds a bit strong. Hang on. Wow. Just come up to the Clink Museum. Now, I haven't been here or in there since I was a kid. I'm just looking at the opening times. And the prices, because I want to do a visit. That's the Clink Museum. Anyway, so as I was saying with Eddie, he found a load of photos. He took them on holiday with us, and we went to each location of where the pictures were taken, and he'd done a little spiel on camera about who was in the picture, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. It was so, like, it was good for him. It was so good for him to do reminisce like that. And I can't remember, well, it's on video, it's on one of the films on this channel, but he I've had about 6-7 pictures on the first visit, and then our next holiday, shortly after that one, he found a few more, and we've done exactly the same thing. We've done the exactly same thing, and we just finished it off with those last few pictures what he found, and it's really good. You know, he loved doing it, I loved doing it for him, like the filming. And it was just an amazing moment for him to go to the spots at Butlins, even though it's changed and almost unrecognisable from the 80s and 90s. And it was just really good, you know, just really, really good. That I found and knew exactly where each picture was taken. So that's on the channel if you're interested and you haven't watched that one. That's on the channel. If you're going to have a look at. So just passing the replica of the Golden Hand boat, ship, whatever. So we're just coming round to Southwark Cathedral. So just coming around to Southwark Cathedral, just walking towards London Bridge. And then along the front at London Bridge we'll come across HMS Belfast. And then we will finish off at the side of Tower Bridge, where I will finish this test video, and then I will go home, have some breakfast, and then job done. So with these holidays at Butlins, just a bit of useless information for you. We do the Monday to Fridays, and I'm not going to get into the conversation of the meal plans again. We've been there and done it. We have the Monday to Friday, but we go down on Sunday. Every holiday we do, windy again, but hi. Every holiday we have with the Monday to Fridays, we go down on the Sunday. I will come back to that, hang on. Yeah, so we do the Monday to Friday holidays, but we go down on the Sunday because, as I mentioned a little while ago about Ford Airfield Market, on a Sunday it's a big car boot. Now, years ago it was a proper market, which was better, if I'm honest with you, but over the years it's just gone purely car boat, so there's not really any stalls there. Might be one or two, but it's mainly well, it is 99.9%, it's car boot. So what we do we go down stupid early o'clock on a Sunday morning, and if we're stupidly early, we might sometimes go and have a bit of breakfast first sometimes, and we'll go to Ford car boot first of all, and winter time it's not that big, if I'm honest with you, but at this time of year it's always massive and a really good turnout. And so we do that first, and then I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours at the Ford Airfield car boat, and then we jump in the car and we go to the car boot at Chichester, which is only a few miles up the road. And on a Sunday they take over, I think it's called Station Car Park in Chichester, and they take over the whole car park, well 90% of it, for their car boot. Now Chichester is probably one of the richest areas, richest towns, or is it a city? It could be a city in West Sussex. So usually what you get at the Chichester car boot sale is a lot more quality of stuff, so you're probably more likely to get something of high quality at Chichester car boot than you would at Ford. So anyone who likes their car boots, hang on, that's the Shard. So anyone who likes their car boot sales, and also your Butlins Bognor holidays, it could be just worth coming down. And you get an extra day's holiday. This is what we do. We hotel it on that Sunday. We will check into a hotel, and is that yours? There you go. Okay, ladies just dropped something out of the car she didn't even notice. So we premiere in it for the night, and if you book your premiere in well in advance, you can get really cheap rooms for overnight. I'm just walking up Tooley Street. I will cut back over onto the Thames in a second, but yeah, if you book Premier Inn well in advance, you can get overnighters really cheap, and for some reason Sundays are very cheap. If you book a hotel room, if you book a Premier Inn on a Sunday, for a Sunday, it's actually quite cheap, and the breakfasts are good as well. We usually, so what I do to get the best price, I go onto the Premier Inn website, and those of you who are familiar with the Premier Inn website, you put in postcode. Put in your Butlins postcode if you wish, which is PO21 1JJ. Put in the postcode on the online form, and then when you're checking in, when you're checking out, which will only be a one-nighter, and then search, it will come up with about 10 to 12 local Premier Inns. Now, when I say local, it will take you out and list out towards Portsmouth as well. So, but usually the first 6 or 7 are quite local. So the first one you come across will be Shripney, which is just on the outskirts of Bognor. 9 times out of 10, that's the cheapest one, and 9 times out of 10 that's where we'll stay. And then, as I said, we just book it way in advance for the Sunday night. So I've just walked through, I should have mentioned, Hayes Galleria, which is just next to HMS Belfast. HMS Belfast. Which we will come to in a second. Yes, so as I said, if you you know, it's cheap, ain't being funny, but if you like your markets and you don't want to miss out, and you're having a Butlins Ollibobs on the Monday to the Friday, why not kill 2 with 1? Go down on the Sunday, do the markets, hotel it, you get an extra day's holiday. Why not? So yeah, I think it's worth doing that. If you're having a Monday to a Friday at Butlins and you like your Premier Inn, you like your markets, kill two with one, have an extra day holiday, and go and enjoy yourself. And of course, what you could do, you can for the rest of the Sunday, you can maybe travel around parts of West Sussex where you wouldn't usually travel around on that extra day's holiday. For example, Arundel, and I will do a video of Arundel. I don't know when. Yeah, I don't know when, but I will do a video of Arundel. As I said when I was in Bognor a couple of days ago, Arundel's very historic. You've got cathedral, you've got a castle. The castle is massive. Me and some mates from work a couple of years ago, I think it was a bank holiday weekend as well, we went to Arundel and Bognor overnight, and we've done the castle. It's not cheap to get in, about 25-30 quid I think. Yeah, I think it's about 25-30 quid to get into the castle, but the castle's absolutely massive. Like, you need to look round it properly, and the grounds, they've got some amazing grounds and little gardens and flower gardens. You need to give yourself a good half a day, if not a full day, because the castle is enormous, and we done it. So as I said, Arundel's very historic. Both historical, architectural, and as I said, they do a lot of filming. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with a film, and I've got a chuckle every time I talk about this, a film that recently come out on DVD called Wicked Little Letters. It's a true story set in the, I think it's set in the late 1920s, 30s I think, but it's a true story. Now there's a lot of swearing in it, but as I said, it's a true story. If you like a bit of a laugh, bit of a chuckle, it is available on DVD now, and it's called Wicked Little Letters. Now that was filmed in Arundel. Now it's supposed to depict Little Hampton, which is exactly where this incident, true incident, took place. It actually happened in Little Hampton, which is like literally a couple of miles around the corner, and but they filmed it in Arundel, and it is funny. Probably not for the kids, because there's a hell of a lot of swearing in it, and it's a true story. It is a true story. And Timothy Spall, our great British actor, is in it, and I know Tim. I actually know personally Timothy Spalt. Now, I haven't seen Tim for a couple of years, a few years, but one of my times working in the city, I met him and I got to know him. And I'll tell you what, probably one of the nicest people you would ever meet, because he would regularly pop in and say hi, and especially, you know, this is a busy man, this is a busy actor, and he would, for example, at Christmas time, without any foul, every single Christmas he would pop in and he would have a quick chat. He would shake my hand and he'll say, "Nige, have a great Christmas, great New Year." And that was for the few years I got to know him, without a foul, he would come and say hi, especially at Christmas. And I take my hat off to the British legendary actor Mr. Timothy Spall, because he is a lovely, lovely man. And I do believe, I heard on the radio this morning, he's doing something for the celebrations what are coming up. I briefly heard on the radio this morning that he's doing some sort of a Churchill read or something. I'll look out for that. So yeah, as I said, Timothy Spall's in this movie, Wicked Little Letters. And for you guys who want a bit of a giggle, treat yourself. It's only about a tenner. So, just at the side of Tower Bridge, I don't think the sun's really doing me any favours at the minute. But hey ho, we will see what it looks like on the big screen, eh? So, as I said, this walkabout has really been just a test video, really, for the new camera, and testing out its mics. One of the mics I couldn't use because it wouldn't connect for some reason, but that's just a minor issue. So in a mo, I'll leave you with a angled shot of Tower Bridge, and then I'm going home, and I'm going out again when the shop's open. So it's Sunday, so nothing will actually be open till 11. So I'm just gonna come out the sun like that and leave you with a silhouette of Tower Bridge. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. As I said in the last video, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you watch all my pattern stuff all my London 5K stuff. Please subscribe, like, share the videos if you wish, and hit that notification bell, because it will let you know when new videos pop up. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to the holiday in a few weeks' time, me, Eddie and Tony, and I hope this camera was worth every penny. And I'll catch you later.